this video, we're gonna do pickled mango. It's one of those local dishes that everyone makes during mango season, and just thinking about it right now is making my mouth water. Basically what it is, it's green mangoes or unripe mangoes and a pickling brine. Now, a lot of the recipes in Hawaii just have basically just white vinegar, sugar, salt, and lihing mui, which are these little dried, preserved Chinese plums. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change it up a little bit to try to build upon the base recipe. So I'm using the same essential ingredients, but I'm going to try to just add a little bit more depth and a little bit more finesse to it. So instead of just white vinegar, we're gonna use a little bit of rice wine vinegar, which is a milder vinegar. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of apple cider vinegar. So now I'm layering the flavors of the vinegars together, and I'm using two milder vinegars. I have sugar that's gonna go in. And then I have Hawaiian salt that's gonna go into this recipe. Now, regular Hawaiian salt is white, and it's called Hawaiian salt because it's salt that's derived from the ocean here in Hawaii. But we also have salt that is tinted a sort of a reddish color, and that's called alae. And what it is it's the Hawaiian salt that's also mixed in with a little bit of essentially red clay dirt. And what that does is it gives a little bit more of a mineral flavor to the salt. It adds more character and dimension. So I'm gonna add some of that in here too. So what we have now is that base recipe, but instead of using regular salt, I'm using the alae salt. And if you don't have alae salt, you can use kosher salt, but just make sure you use a salt that doesn't have iodine in it, because iodine will give it a different flavor, okay? Now, I'm also gonna add peppercorns. Most recipes I have researched do not have peppercorns in there, but why I'm adding the peppercorns is because I wanna give it just a little bit of warmth to this pickle so that it has another layer of character in there. And then I'm also going to add a little garlic. And again, the garlic is to add more depth of flavor, a little bit of a savory note to the pickle here. So what I'm gonna do now is I wanna bring this to a boil, and I want to let the sugar dissolve and all of the flavors to come together. While that's happening, we're gonna get our mangoes ready. So I started some mangoes here, and I'm gonna show you how we get the mangoes prepped for the pickling. I did wanna show you a couple of things first of all though. Now this is a typical mango that you would find in our stores. This is sort of, I believe this is a Keats variety. And as you can see, it's ripe. And you can tell it's ripe because of the color breaks that it has. It's got more orange, it's got reds in here. And the texture is, it's got some give on there. So I can tell that this is ripe. What I'm looking for, or what you're looking for when you're making pickled mangoes, mangoes that are like this, where they're definitely immature, they're green, and they're hard. If you're familiar with a chayote or a merlotan, that's sort of what you're looking for. Hard, firm, cucumber-esque like mangoes, okay? So you can see the big difference in the two mangoes. What we're gonna do is we're gonna peel them, and I'm gonna just go ahead and use a vegetable peeler. You can use a paring knife. I use a vegetable peeler merely because it allows me to get only that top layer of skin off, and thus I'm not wasting flesh on this mango here. So the recipe here calls for 8 cups of mango. I got most of the mangoes there. I just wanted to show you guys how to get one of these done. And as you can see, my pickle here is it's all melded together. It's rapidly boiling. So I'm gonna just go ahead and turn it off, and I'm gonna let it just kind of marry right there. So here's one. I'll do another one just so you can see. This is a nice one here. But see, this one, interestingly enough, is starting to get ripe. I'm gonna go ahead and use it because it's still really firm, but you see that the flesh is already starting to change color. You can smell that vinegar sugar mixture is just, my mouth is screaming right now. Okay, so we got our mangoes here. I'm gonna try and cut this one all the way through the seed and all, because when it's a young immature mango, you should be able to cut through the whole seed. And I'm gonna try to do that right now. And yeah, you can see inside here. This is what a young mango looks like. You can see that the pit here is very underdeveloped, and it's really soft. And the nice thing about that is now I can take this whole piece of mango and slice it up and use it, as opposed to having to cut around. So all of that's gonna go right into my bowl here. I'll go ahead and, this one might not, maybe I'll try to cut it, but I don't know if we'll, yeah, see, it's not letting me go in here. So when you got a mango like that, you're gonna have to go traditional way, cut around the pit. Try to get as much of the flesh off as you can from the pit. This becomes unusable, and then you take the pieces here and trim them up. Okay, so now we have our pickling brine, we have our mangoes, and we're ready to have the things sort of come together. So I have my mangoes here, I have my pickling brine here. Now we have, this is the li hing mui, or the Chinese pickled or dried plums. You can do one of two things. You can put it in the brine, or you can put it on the mangoes. I like to put it on the mangoes because sometimes when I put it in a hot brine, it becomes very overpowering. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pour the mixture all over the mangoes here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this come together. Now, what's gonna happen is the sugar and the salt acts as a curing agent, and it's gonna pull the moisture out of the mangoes, and then also the vinegar, etc., is gonna pickle the mango. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna mix it up and I'm gonna let it sit. What I like to do is put this in a Ziploc bag, and the reason I do that is if I put it in the Ziploc bag, it allows all of the product to move around and to marinate and get lots of flavor in there. And then later on, I'll put it in bottles. And when we come back, I'll show you what the product looks like in bottles. But the other thing that people in Hawaii tend to do is they put food coloring in here. They put red food coloring in here. The only thing that I can think of that would call for the red food coloring is because I believe this dish is derived sort of from our Chinese ancestry, and I believe that the red food coloring symbolizes good luck. So you can put red food coloring if you want. I am not gonna put red food coloring in here because some of the coloring is also gonna come off of these li hing mui. So when we come back, we'll see what this looks like, and then we'll put some in a bottle. This is what I was talking about a little while ago. After the mango and the brine and the pickle sort of cooled down enough, I put it in a Ziploc bag here. And you can see already, it's starting to really pull out the moisture from the mangoes, and it's becoming a lot more liquid of a solution mix here. But you can also see that as I've laid it down flat, because of the way it's in the bag, it's really in contact. All of the pieces are in contact with the pickle, and it's really gonna get lots of great flavor. So I'm gonna leave this. I would take this and I would let it get cool all the way, and I'll put it in the refrigerator, and I would let it go in the refrigerator. Sometimes I just leave it in the bag and eat it out of the bag, or you could put it in bottles. And so I have, these are mason jars. What I would do is after a day or so, I would take them out, I'd stuff the mason jars, and then I would evenly distribute what's remaining of the pickle over throughout all of the jars. And so I have a sample here, and I thought I'd show you what it looks like. As you can see, the color here has an orange reddish tint, and I didn't even add any of that red food coloring. Merely it came off of the li hing seeds that I put in here. So that's why, to some extent, I don't necessarily think you need to add a whole lot more color. But I'm gonna go here and have some of this pickled mango. And before I go for this explosion of flavors, don't forget you can get more videos like this at foodland.com. Woo! Heart.